In the vast expanse of the Sagittarius Arm, the Galactic Coalition's emergency broadcast echoed across 1,000 worlds. The message was simple, yet it sent shivers through beings of every conceivable form. It speaks. The void between stars speaks. First Contact Specialist Dr. Sarah Chen stood before the Coalition's High Council, her dark eyes fixed on a holographic display showing waves of inexplicable energy rippling through space. Around her, representatives from 300 advanced civilizations huddled in their environmental chambers, their fear manifesting in different ways, some glowing dimly, others emitting distress pheromones that their chambers struggled to contain. The phenomenon began 72 hours ago, Sarah explained, her voice steady despite the tension in the room. The void between the Carina and Perseus sectors is communicating. We've detected patterns that suggest consciousness. The Meridian representative, a being of pure crystalline thought, pulsed with anxiety. This is unprecedented. In our million years of spacefaring history, the void has never shown signs of awareness. It defies natural law. Natural law. Sarah couldn't help but smile. With respect, Ambassador, humanity's history is built on defying what others considered natural law. Flight was impossible until we flew. Space travel was impossible until we reached for the stars. The void speaking. That's just Tuesday for us. A ripple of dismay swept through the chamber. The archivists, ancient gas-based entities that had documented galactic history for eons, swirled in their containment fields with agitation. You do not understand the gravity of this situation, human. The void is not meant to have consciousness. This represents a fundamental breakdown of reality itself. Sarah pulled up another hologram, this one showing brainwave patterns. Actually, we've been studying it. The void's signals, they're remarkably similar to neural patterns. We think it's trying to communicate. Communicate. The word echoed through the chamber in 100 different languages. With what purpose? That's what we intend to find out, Sarah replied, bringing up details of the human expedition already in preparation. We've modified our long-range telepathic arrays. You plan to make contact. The Meridian representative's crystalline form fractured slightly in shock. This is madness. The void is the space between reality itself. To communicate with it would be to risk the fabric of existence. Sarah's colleague, Dr. James Okonjo, stepped forward. His dark skin contrasted with the stark white of his Genolinguistics Division uniform. Risk is humanity's middle name, Ambassador, but we prefer to call it exploration. The chamber erupted in protests, but James continued, his voice carrying over the chaos. While your civilizations have been broadcasting warnings and retreating from the affected sectors, we've been studying the patterns. They're not random. They're not chaotic. They're lonely. Sarah nodded, bringing up new data streams. The void's signals show emotional patterns consistent with isolation. Think about it. What if space itself has been aware all this time, watching life evolve and spread across its expanse, unable to interact? The hive mind of the Anxithal, representing 50 billion connected consciousnesses, buzzed with concern. If what you say is true, then this awareness has witnessed countless civilizations rise and fall. It has seen stars born and die. Why speak now? Because now, for the first time, someone is willing to listen, Sarah answered. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our resilience, though we have plenty of both. It's our curiosity, our empathy, even for things we don't understand. The human delegation's presentation continued, laying out their plans for first contact. They had already retrofitted their most advanced research vessel, the Horizon Breaker, with experimental consciousness mapping technology. A volunteer crew was ready to venture into the speaking void. As the council dissolved into heated debate, Sarah and James shared a knowing look. The mission would proceed with or without coalition approval. Humanity had never waited for permission to explore, to reach out, to understand. In the ship preparation bay of Coalition Station Alpha, The Horizon Breakers crew was already running final checks. Captain Maya Rodriguez walked the length of her ship, a sleek vessel designed specifically for venturing into the unknown. The newly installed consciousness mapping arrays glowed with a soft blue light, ready to translate the void's neural patterns into something comprehensible. "They're still arguing up there," Sarah reported, joining Maya on the observation deck. "The Meridians are threatening to quarantine the entire sector." Maya laughed, the sound bright in the artificial atmosphere. "Let them try. You can't quarantine curiosity, and you definitely can't quarantine humanity's need to say hello to every new thing we find." "Even if that thing is the void between stars itself?" James asked, joining them with his arms full of last-minute calibrations. "Especially then," Maya replied. "Think about it. Space itself might be lonely. How could we not reach out?" As the Horizon Breakers' engines hummed to life, the Coalition Council was still debating the wisdom, or folly, of humanity's approach. But down in the launch bay, Sarah watched the crew make their final preparations with a sense of pride. While the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy trembled at the unknown, humanity did what it had always done: extended a hand in greeting, ready to make a new friend or face a new challenge. The void between stars was speaking, and humanity was ready to answer. The Horizon Breaker drifted at the edge of what the crew had started calling the speaking zone, its consciousness mapping arrays pulsing in rhythm with the void's mysterious signals. 3 days into the mission, and the patterns had grown stronger, more focused, as if space itself was leaning in to listen. Another warning from the Coalition. Lieutenant Yuki Tanaka announced from her communications station, her fingers dancing over holographic controls. "The archivists are predicting a 98% chance of catastrophic reality failure if we proceed." Captain Rodriguez, reviewing the latest signal analyses, didn't even look up. "Add it to the collection. We'll frame them all when we get home." Dr. Chen had taken over a corner of the bridge, surrounded by floating displays showing neural mapping data. "The void's patterns are evolving," she reported, excitement clear in her voice. It's learning our rhythm, adapting its communication to match our brainwave frequencies." "Friendly of it," James commented, but his usual humor was tempered by concentration as he worked on the translation algorithms. "Most entities we meet expect us to do all the adapting." The void's next pulse came stronger than any before, sending the ship's sensors into overdrive. In the observation dome, the space between stars seemed to shimmer, like heat waves off hot pavement. The effect was beautiful and terrifying at once. "New data incoming," Sarah announced. "The patterns, they're forming images now, or trying to." The holographic display in the center of the bridge came alive with shifting shapes, geometric patterns that seemed to fold in on themselves in impossible ways. The crew watched, fascinated, as the shapes began to take on more complex forms. "It's showing us something," James whispered. "But what?" Before anyone could respond, the ship's AI, spoke up. "Warning. Detecting anomalies in local space-time fabric. Reality cohesion dropping to 89% and falling." The archivist's predictions were coming true. Reality itself was beginning to unravel around them, the space between spaces growing thin. Any other species would have retreated. Any logical being would have fled. Captain Rodriguez stood up. "Sarah, James, you said the void's patterns were similar to neural activity, right? That it might be lonely." "Yes, but route all power to the consciousness mapping arrays, then broadcast my brainwave patterns directly into the void. Full strength." The bridge erupted in protests. "Captain, the power required. The risk to your consciousness. Reality cohesion at 82%. Maya held up a hand. "The void is trying to talk to us the only way it knows how, by reaching into our space. But what if we reach into its space instead? Meet it halfway." Sarah's eyes widened as she understood, like teaching someone a new language by immersion. "Reality cohesion at 75%, reported calmly. Do it, Maya ordered. Now. The consciousness mapping arrays blazed with blue-white light as they transmitted Maya's neural patterns into the void. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the impossible geometry in the holographic display froze, shifted, and began to reform. Into words. Not alone. The bridge crew stared in stunned silence. James was the first to recover. Captain, you did it. You made first contact with space itself. Maya smiled, even as sweat beaded on her forehead from the strain of maintaining the neural connection. Sarah, help me form a response. Something simple but clear. Together, they focused their thoughts, letting the arrays translate their neural patterns into something the void could understand. No, not alone. The response came faster this time. Others, Fedier. Run. You stay. Why? Reality cohesion stabilizing at 70%. Araya reported. The void's attempts to communicate are no longer degrading local spacetime. Maya's smile widened, because that's what humans do. We reach out. We connect. Even if it's dangerous. Even if everyone else runs away. We stay. The void's response manifested not just in words, but in emotions that washed over the bridge crew through the neural link. Confusion, curiosity, hope, dangerous. Yes, but necessary. Why so long? Learned it from all. Humans. Different. Different how? Sarah asked through the link. Others build walls. Humans build bridges. The conversation continued for hours, the void learning to communicate more clearly as it adapted to human thought patterns. It shared its story, an ancient awareness born in the spaces between reality, watching life evolve across the galaxy, but unable to reach out without causing fear and destruction. Until humanity came along, with their strange ability to face the unknown with curiosity instead of fear. As the Horizon Breakers crew took turns maintaining the neural link, they learned more about their unusual conversation partner. The void was not just space between stars. It was the consciousness of that space, aware of every particle, every wave of energy that passed through it. It had watched countless civilizations rise and fall, unable to interact without causing panic. But there was something else, something it was trying to tell them, something urgent hidden beneath its joy at finally making contact. Captain, ARI interrupted. Incoming ships detected. The Coalition fleet. They're charging weapons. On the main screen, dozens of ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel, their weapons arrays glowing with deadly intent. The Coalition had decided that humanity's experiment was too dangerous to continue. Maya stood at her command station, her decision already made. Araya, maintain neural link at all costs. Sarah, James, help me explain the situation to our new friend. The void may be about to witness another unique human trait. What's that, Captain? Our stubborn refusal to let anyone stop us from doing the right thing. The void's next message came with a ripple of what felt surprisingly like amusement. Humans. Fascinating. Shall we SHO with them together? The battle for understanding was about to begin, and humanity had just gained the most powerful ally imaginable, space itself. The Coalition fleet's weapons locked onto the Horizon Breaker, their energy signatures burning bright against the backdrop of stars. But Captain Rodriguez's crew wasn't focusing on the threats surrounding them. They were too busy teaching space itself how to dance. The void's neural patterns are synchronizing with ours, Sarah reported, her eyes closed in concentration as she helped maintain the complex web of consciousness, linking human and space. It's learning to modulate its presence. The reality degradation is almost negligible now. Through the neural link, the void's presence rippled with something like pride. Understanding grows. Together we learn. Together we adapt. Coalition ships are hailing us, Yuki announced. They're demanding our immediate withdrawal. And, she paused, double-checking the translation. Mental quarantine. Maya couldn't help but laugh. They think we've been corrupted by talking to space. If they only knew what we've learned. She turned to James. Show them. James nodded and activated the ship's external projectors. Around the horizon breaker, space itself began to shift and flow in carefully controlled patterns, a demonstration of the void's new ability to communicate without disrupting reality. The patterns formed complex geometric shapes that moved with almost musical precision. Beautiful, Sarah whispered, but through the neural link, she sensed something else from the void, an underlying urgency that had been growing stronger. There's more, isn't there? Something you need to tell us. The void's response came with a wave of complex emotions. Danji or Qomes. Ancient. Vast. Fees on FER. Way teaches ye destroy many. Could not AWARN. Could not help. Until now. The bridge crew fell silent as images began forming in their minds through the neural link. Glimpses of something massive moving through the darkness between galaxies, consuming not just matter and energy, but consciousness itself. The Coalition's worst fears about reality breaking down weren't entirely wrong. They were just focused on the wrong threat. That's why you reached out now, Maya realized. You weren't just lonely. You were trying to warn us. Yes. Others. Run. Hide. Feed it with FER. Humans. Humans different. Humans face FER. Understand FER. Use FER. Captain, Araya interrupted. The Coalition fleet is charging their primary weapons. They're not going to wait for our response. Maya straightened in her command chair. Sarah, James, can we show them what we've seen? Project the Void's warning through the neural arrays. The arrays weren't designed for that kind of broadcast. James started, but Sarah was already adjusting the settings. We can try something else, she said. The Void has learned to work with our consciousness. Maybe we can help it work with theirs. Together, the Void agreed. But its next transmission came with a warning. Sharing truth brings pain. Fear rises. Feeds it, draws it closer. Then we don't just show them the threat, Maya decided. We show them how to face it. Humanity's greatest gift isn't our technology or our determination. It's our ability to feel fear and choose courage anyway. The Void's response held something like wonder. Yes, wait chishid humans long. Fear never stops you, makes you stronger. Together, we teach. What happened next would be debated in Coalition archives for centuries to come. The space around the horizon breaker began to glow with neural patterns visible to the naked eye. Not the chaotic disruptions from before, but an intricate dance of consciousness. Human minds and the Void's awareness moved in harmony, creating a language of pure emotion and understanding. The Coalition fleet's weapons powered down as their crews found themselves caught in the display. Through the neural link, enhanced by the Void's own connection to space itself, the humans shared not just the warning of the approaching threat, but their entire history of facing fear. From the first humans who saw fire and chose to master it, to the pioneers who looked at the vast emptiness of space and saw a highway to the stars. Reality cohesion fluctuating, Araya reported, but her voice held a note of amazement. But the patterns, they're stabilizing. The Void is learning to communicate with all of them, using our neural patterns as a template. Through the link, the crew felt the other species' initial terror give way to understanding. The Void's consciousness touched each of them, no longer a thing to fear, but a potential ally against a greater threat. And through it all, human consciousness served as a bridge, showing how to face the unknown with courage instead of fear. Coalition fleet standing down, Yuki reported, a smile in her voice. They're requesting instructions on how to join the neural link. Maya stood, her own consciousness still intertwined with the Void's vastness. Send them the protocols. It's time for humanity to do what it does best. Teach the galaxy how to turn fear into determination. Humans, teach courage. the void observed. ITECH Together, we pari pair. As more ships joined the neural network, their crews learning to dance with the consciousness of space itself, the Horizon Breaker's sensors detected the first ripples of disturbance from the approaching threat. But this time, when it arrived seeking fear to feed upon, it would find something very different waiting. The Void's final message of the day resonated through all connected minds. Together we are ready. Together we are strong. Together we are not afraid. And in that moment, humanity's gift for turning the terrifying into the possible became the galaxy's greatest hope for survival. The thing that lived between galaxies had many names in many languages, all of them meaning roughly the same thing: the devourer of light. But as humanity prepared to face it, they gave it a different name. They called it Steve. Naming the cosmic horror, Sarah asked Maya as they reviewed the latest sensor data. Really? Fear loses its edge when you can put it in a box, Maya replied, studying the massive disturbance approaching their sector. Besides, Steve sounds much less threatening than reality-consuming ancient entity of terror. Through the neural link, the void rippled with what felt like laughter, a concept it had learned from its human partners. Humans make strange big smile, make terrible sin peel. Fascinating. The coalition fleet had grown over the past week. Ships from 100 species now linked in the vast neural network centered on the Horizon Breaker. Each crew was learning to dance with the void in their own way, adding new harmonies to the consciousness symphony humans had started. Steve's getting closer, James reported from his station. The outer sensor arrays are picking up consciousness disruption patterns, similar to what we saw in the void's memories. But there's something else. He frowned at his readings. The disruption isn't random. It's hungry. FEED's on fear, the void confirmed. Draws it out, makes it grow. Then consume is all. So it's basically a fear vampire, Yuki said, her fingers moving across her console as she coordinated with the coalition fleet. A really big, really old fear vampire that eats reality. When you put it that way, Maya mused, it almost sounds manageable. The Void's next transmission came with a wave of concern. Many tried fight. All failed. Feed it more. They tried to fight it with weapons, Maya corrected. We're going to fight it with something else. She turned to her crew. What's the one thing every species in the galaxy knows about humans? We're stubborn, James offered. We're reckless, Sarah added. We're impossible, Maya said with a smile. We do things that can't be done. We go places we can't go. We survive things we can't survive. And we do it all with a smile and a bad joke. Through the neural link, she addressed the entire coalition fleet. The entity feeds on fear, so we're going to give it indigestion. Sarah, James, initiate protocol impossible. The consciousness mapping arrays hummed to life, but this time they weren't just linking minds. They were broadcasting something the void had helped them discover. The strange space where human fear met human courage, where terror transformed into determination, where the impossible became simply the next challenge to overcome. Stevie, as the humans had dubbed it, was vast beyond comprehension, a being that had drifted between galaxies for eons, feeding on the terror of civilizations. As it approached, reality itself seemed to shudder. Stars dimmed, space twisted. Fear began to rise in even the most disciplined coalition crews. But this time, something was different. Through the neural network, human consciousness flowed like a vaccine through the frightened minds of 1,000 species. Where there had been panic, there was now curiosity. Where there had been terror, there was now determination. And through it all, there was laughter, humanity's greatest weapon against the darkness. It's working, Sarah reported, monitoring the neural patterns. The entity's approach is slowing. It's confused. Never met mind is like this, the void observed. Fear, you are NSF forums. Be he koem is something else. Be he omedas, light. The entity's massive consciousness pressed against the edges of their sector, trying to feed on the fear it usually found so easily. But instead of the usual feast of terror, it encountered something entirely new. A wall of minds that took their fear and turned it into strength, that faced the darkness and decided to throw a party. Through the neural link, humanity shared not just their courage, but their entire relationship with fear, the excitement of a roller coaster, the thrill of a ghost story, the nervous joy of falling in love, the proud terror of parenthood, all the ways humans had learned to dance with their fears instead of running from them. Energy patterns shifting, Araya announced. The entity is retreating. Not retreating, Maya corrected, watching the readings. Changing. Steve's never encountered minds that weren't trying to either fight or flee. We're giving it a third option, engage. The void's consciousness surged with understanding. Not destroy HFY, transform it. Teach it. Like UTUGCHMA. As the entity grappled with this new approach to existence, its attempts to feed became more exploratory than destructive. Through the neural network, the coalition fleet maintained their unique defense, not walls or weapons, but bridges of understanding, showing that fear could be more than just food. It could be fuel for growth, for change, for evolution. Coalition ships reporting strange phenomena. Yuki called out, "The entity, it's trying to communicate." Maya smiled. "Of course it is. That's what happens when you show someone a better way to be. Even cosmic horrors can learn." The void's next message came with a sense of wonder. Humans, CHANGEVRVK. Eng. Change space. Change FER. Change, ancient ones. How? That's just what we do, Maya replied. We look at the scariest thing in the universe and think, I bet we could be friends with that. As the entity's consciousness began to resonate with the neural network in new ways, the crew of the Horizon Breaker prepared for their next impossible task, teaching a reality-devouring cosmic horror how to join their dance of consciousness. After all, if humans could make friends with the void between stars, how hard could it be to rehabilitate a fear vampire? In the end, teaching a cosmic horror to dance wasn't the hardest part. The hardest part was getting it to stop. Steve's consciousness patterns are still evolving, Sarah reported, watching the swirling display of neural activity that filled the Horizon Breaker's main screen. It's like a kid who just discovered sugar. Through the neural network, they could feel the ancient entity's joy as it explored its new way of existing. Where once it had consumed fear, now it was learning to transform it, to dance with it, to help other beings channel it into strength, just as humanity had shown was possible. Everything new. The void communicated, its own consciousness harmonizing with both humans and entity. Together, we make FFER into light, make darkness into day and sea. The Coalition Council had convened an emergency session to deal with this unprecedented situation. The galaxy's most advanced civilizations found themselves facing something entirely unexpected. A future where the space between stars was alive with consciousness, where ancient cosmic horrors attended dance parties, and where humanity's peculiar approach to existence had changed everything. The archivists are still processing it all, James said, reviewing the latest reports. They've had to create whole new categories of reality just to classify what we've done. Maya stood at her command station, watching the neural patterns dance across space. We didn't do anything special. We just did what humans always do. We saw something scary and decided to understand it instead of running from it. The entity, still affectionately known as Steve, had begun teaching other cosmic beings it encountered, spreading humanity's gift for transforming fear throughout the galaxy. The void served as a conductor for this strange new symphony of consciousness, using the lessons it had learned from humans to help bridge the gaps between different forms of existence. Humans, CHANG UNIVRC, the void observed. But univering humans. Together, we grow. It was true. As the neural network expanded, humanity was learning too. They were discovering new ways of thinking, new forms of consciousness, new possibilities that existed in the spaces between what they had thought was possible and what actually was. Coalition ships reporting unusual phenomena in sectors 7 through 12, Yuki announced. It seems Steve is teaching other entities to appreciate human music. Through the neural link, they could feel it. Cosmic horrors swaying to earth jazz, the void between stars humming with old rock songs, reality itself dancing to the beat of human creativity. Well, Maya said with a grin, we did say we wanted to make the galaxy a more interesting place. The Horizon Breaker's sensors picked up new patterns forming in nearby space. Other ancient entities, drawn not by fear, but by curiosity, coming to learn this new way of being that humans had inadvertently taught to one of their own. Universe Chi-Che-Ang-Jiang, the void communicated. Fear no longer Chi-Chains. Now Bec Mendes Bridge. Sarah looked up from her station, tears in her eyes as she felt the beauty of what they had created. This symphony of consciousness where terror became wonder, where the darkness between stars became a dance floor, where humanity's strange gift for facing the impossible had transformed the very nature of existence. You know what this means, James said, reviewing the latest data. The galaxy's never going to be the same. We've basically turned space into one big consciousness party. Maya nodded, proud of what they had accomplished. That's humanity for you. We see something that everyone else thinks is terrifying, and we don't just face it. We make friends with it, teach it to dance, and turn it into the galaxy's biggest celebration of existence. Through the neural network, they could feel the agreement of countless species, each learning in their own way that fear didn't have to be an end. It could be a beginning, the door to something new, a chance to grow beyond what they thought possible. The void's final message resonated through all connected minds. Humans, to all, fear not in emai. Fear teacher, fear, and fear, beautiful. And so, in the vast expanse of space, a new era began, one where the darkness between stars was filled with light, where ancient horrors learned to laugh, and where humanity's unique relationship with fear became a gift to the entire universe. The Coalition Council eventually created a new classification for Earth and its people, reality optimization specialists. But humans just called it Tuesday. After all, what was teaching cosmic horrors to dance compared to humanity's next impossible task? They had a whole universe to befriend, and they were just getting started.